Welcome everybody to this session around FastTrack updates for Q4 of fiscal FY16. My name is Riaz Abipai and I'm a partner marketing manager in Office Marketing team. Today I'm joined by Katie Larson, the product marketing manager in the deployment and usage team, who will talk into details about the changes that are coming to the service that will be helpful not only to customers to utilize their service and the benefits better, but also to partners and the tools that we're making available to partners that will help them work better with their customers and the FastTrack Center. I'm also joined by Brian Shires from the same team, and he will be walking us through some of the updates and the changes coming to the FastTrack web experience, helping both customers and partners work seamlessly with each other, as well as fill out the changes in the success plan that will help them work better with the FastTrack Center. Before we dive into looking at these changes, it's always important for us to remember that FastTrack is a service, and it's a service benefit as part of the Office 365 service. Just like the Office 365 service evolves, FastTrack as a service continues to evolve, and the evolutions are based on three core principles. The first and the primary principle is making sure that the customer has the best customer experience on getting started with the product. The research and data shows that the customers who have a seamless experience getting started with the service are more likely to use the service across their entire organization. And FastTrack Center makes that the primary principle of how we look about evolving the service on an ongoing basis. We want to shorten the time to value that the customer, it takes for the customer to start utilizing for what they're paying for. And by doing so, we bring the partners closer in the process of taking the customer to the platform-ready stage, and then start providing additional services that are high-value services for the customer. And that is a win-win situation for both the customer and the partner. These are our principles that we evolve the service on an ongoing basis. As we shared a few months back, FastTrack is a service that lives with the customer through the life cycle of the service, which means FastTrack will help the customer and their partner throughout various stages of their journey of Office 365 and through various stages of journey of various workloads of Office 365. Which means when a customer and their partners are in the envisioning state, Microsoft will help them with the tools and resources and methodologies available to build a great success plan. Then working with the Microsoft FastTrack Center engineers, get them onboarded to the platform, and then post-onboarding, help them drive value and drive usage in the customer's environment. Let's dive into some of the details of how partners work with Microsoft to make the customer successful in each of these stages. FastTrack Center is primarily a remote assistance and a remote service benefit that works with the customer and partner to get them going onto the service. In the envisioning state, the partner helps drive the customer's vision, works with the customer to identify and set priorities to business scenarios that are important in the customer's business, and becomes a true trusted advisor for the business and helps collaborate with the stakeholders on how to build a successful rollout of the service. To help our partners with this, Microsoft provides adoption methodology and project templates, some scenarios that the partner can discuss with the customer to set up a successful rollout plan that then can help them get started quickly to the service and get them onboarded. With the FastTrack web experience, partners can then build a success plan working side by side with the customer so that they have a blueprint of how to get the customer from the time they purchase the service all the way to starting utilizing the service to take advantage of everything it has. In the onboarding stage, we look at the partner to lead and the on-site engagement with the customer. That is, work side by side with the customer and possibly their IT department to make sure that everything that the infrastructure is needed to move them to the cloud is all ready to go. We also look at the partner to work closely with the FastTrack Center and the FastTrack engineers providing the remote onboarding service and migration services to get the customer from their on-premises environment to the cloud. The FastTrack Center, through the web experience, provides the onboarding status and other remediation and assessment tools for the partner to get an idea and sense of where the customer is and how quickly you can get them to the cloud. Once onboarded, we look for the partner to drive the true value and drive usage across the organization. By driving usage, the partner generates more value for the customer, as well as enables new opportunities for themselves to provide those high-value services. Additionally, we see the partner utilizing the adoption offer benefits to get the customer utilizing workloads beyond their initial plan to get new areas of productivity gains in their environment. And Microsoft, from our end, we provide the partner with certain awareness kits and user training and other resources that will help the customer and the partner utilize all the benefit of the service. So to summarize all of this, if you want to put it into a single kind of a view, with the customer at the center of the experience, the FastTrack Center is there to provide remote and programmatic help and access to the customer and the partner by providing remote onboarding assistance, adoption assistance, as well as content and tools and access to the remote FastTrack manager and FastTrack engineer to get them unblocked and get them going with the service. Partner plays a strategic role of being on site and helping the customer work side by side within the customer's environment to provide anything from extended support to strategic consulting services of how certain scenarios will help the customer in their business needs, to help with change management and drive awareness and usage and training across the organization, build new IP services so that the customer takes advantage of all the platform has to offer, and of course provide additional project services. All those on-site and strategic services are what's value add for the partners that they can take advantage of once working closely with the FastTrack Center and working side by side. To help you get a sense of where we are making these investments to make it easier for partners to take advantage of everything the FastTrack Center has to offer, and specifically focus on driving value in the customer's environment, I want to hand it over to Katie Larson, who will look at some of the specific investments in that area. Katie?
Thanks. We wanted to talk through now a few more details around what we're going to be announcing starting in the April timeframe to our customers. And we're going to provide some demos as well on some more details around these announcements specifically. So we'll go ahead and start with the first one, in which we're calling Adoption Planning Assistance. And so what does that mean? Going forward, as part of a customer standard engagement with the FastTrack Center, we're now providing guidance, content, and best practices that focus more around the user adoption aspects of what is going to be needed to accelerate the customer's time to value. So the FastTrack Center will work with customers. They'll work with you as partners as well to help customers get started by highlighting success factors. This could include awareness activities, how to gain executive buy-in, how to leverage end-user training materials. And again, this is all remote. It's a getting started session, but the FastTrack Center will also organize regular checkpoints to support customers as they develop and execute their success plan with you, and go just along the journey, check in to ensure that the progress is being made. And again, this all starts at the beginning of the cycle with the customer at initiation. So we don't wait until the deployment is finished. We get this started up front so that the conversation starts with the customer early. Another change that we're introducing, I'll go ahead and start by giving a little bit of background. So internally, we invested earlier in this fiscal year in what we're calling the adoption optimization model. And what does that actually mean? So today we understand that customers use and adopt in different ways, and that makes sense. But this can also make it difficult for you as partners and for us to make sure that we're putting in place the right motion worldwide across our customer base to make sure we're driving usage at scale. So this project has actually helped us, based on a data science layer, to segment our commercial customers according to these different distinctions in the different usage behaviors so that we can be more effective both from a Microsoft perspective and now going forward with you as partners to help drive this journey and minimize churn with Office 365. And so we'll be introducing tailored adoption guidance. This has been available for our field for some time now, but we will also be surfacing it to you as partners going forward. And so what you'll be able to see within the FastTrack website itself for all of your customers, you'll be able to see where your customers are in the adoption stage. So it's again based on the adoption model that I just talked about. You'll also be able to understand what is the next best action from a recommendation engine that we have in place. That would be recommendations based on Office 365 workloads, as well as how to go forward across the different adoption stages. So we'll go ahead and show you a quick preview of what that will look like for you. Okay, so here you'll see we have a sample customer. And just as we talked about with the model, you'll be able to see exactly what stage your customer is in. So this customer is in the initialized stage, meaning there's quite a bit of work that actually needs to be done to move the customer up the journey to be optimized across workloads and gain the actual usage and optimize what they're doing with Office 365. And so we can look then also at the workload level on where they are and their active and how active they are across Exchange, SharePoint, Skype, etc. And then going with that, so you as a partner can then understand what kind of success plays or guidance is going to be needed to move that customer along the journey. So you'll be able to actually see, based on some customization you can do based on what the situation is with your customer, you'll be able to see some guidance that we've specifically created for you around. This is an example of overcoming technical blockers. So we'll actually be very prescriptive in some of the activities that you can perform directly with the customer on site. The next update we'll go ahead and talk about, and is specifically going to sit on the FastTrack website. So we're investing deeper in our content to ensure, just from outside of an industry or functional area across our core scenarios that are based on our Office 365 workloads, we're investing in available content for you to drive these scenarios with your customers in more depth. So we have use cases for each of the scenarios, so email, calendar on the go, collaboration, and content, just as examples. We're going to be providing video tutorials for each one of these use cases. We're expanding the adoption resources that are available as well, so new videos, updated email templates, handouts, across all of the project phases. And these are all available to you on fasttrack.microsoft.com under the Envision section. Additionally, beyond the basic scenarios and use cases, we've heard this loud and clear that this will be valuable and is needed as we talk to customers about the value of Office 365. And this is demonstrating across specific industry and functional role-based scenarios, content, and again, resources and use cases that's going to help customers understand new ways of supporting their business. And this is across categories such as HR, sales and marketing, finance and accounting, just to name a few. So we'll have awareness kits, again, more robust end user training available across each one of these. So switching gears just a little bit, we talked a little bit about a lot of the content and updates on the FastTrack website itself. We are also extending and expanding what we're doing from a FastTrack Center onboarding perspective. So the first thing I'll talk about is FastTrack Center eligibility for Power BI. So customers that have paid seats above 50 will now be eligible for FastTrack onboarding for Power BI. This will be effective in the May timeframe. And then the second part of onboarding and how we're expanding, we will be expanding our data migration support to include Box to OneDrive for Business. This will also happen in the May timeframe. As you can see, there are some details that we're working out that will be provided as we get closer to the announcement. And one clarification point for this one, this support is available for customers with eSKUs 150 seats and above. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Brian to go deeper on more of the updates we're doing on the FastTrack website.
All right, thanks, Katie. Again, this is Brian Shires on the deployment usage team. So month over month, hopefully you've been engaged in the site and you've seen us making some improvements. We had lots of calls with different partners in our field and customers. And so this month we took an opportunity to action several of those things. We're going to spend time digging into kind of the ones that driving the most impact, the most feedback has come in on. So the goal of these is really helping improve that engagement we have both with our partner community together with the customers and really helping increase the accuracy and the value of those plans. And so three core areas we'll dig into and we'll look at their current in development stage. So one, making it more clear is you sign in as a partner, or when you invite that customer in, hey, what's the clear call to action? What are those resources to help you get going? Secondly, we'll drill into how do we continue involving the SAS Plans. SAS Plans, it evolved out of a few different plans that we've had in the past for 365, adoption and deployment plans, together with influence from our other product groups around consumption plans, but ultimately bringing those together to increase, how quickly you can complete those while still delivering good value to the customer, understanding what they want to get done and knowing what their next step should be. And then we have a guest speaker today, Chris Hawkins, will drill us into what we're doing to improvement from an offer processing perspective. And you see improvements there, both helping you understand customer eligibility, but also direct response to some of the feedback of making it easier and more a natural part of the partner operating model to transact those offers. And everything you're seeing here are things we're working on to deliver in April. And again, we're going to see things in the slides, the screens, still subject to change, but we're really reflective of where we're heading and where we're investing. And make it real for you, I'm going to begin with a little bit of a live demo around what we're doing from just the experience updates, some of the types of things you're going to see changing here in the April timeframe. So I'm in our test environment, and you can see, last month we updated the home site to reflect, hey, FastTrack is not just a 365 or EMS play, but ultimately it cuts cross workloads. You certainly have the drill down for 365. But we're going to spend the rest of the time talking about is really what's going on once I've signed in. I've signed in as myself. Partners, when you sign in, you'll have a very similar experience here. And so things you're going to notice right away is a big visual change going on. And to the point, this will be reflective of kind of where I'm at. So it's, saying, hey, I should search or invite my customer. Over on the left, will be, by the time you see it in your hands, you'll see it surface the kind of recommended resources to help you get going, whether that be how to complete a SAS plan, how to complete an offer. And those are resources that we have published and keep updated over in the resources area, but making sure you have awareness and surface the right ones kind of at the right time. And you'll see here, just from a UI perspective, so kind of cleaning this up and making it easier for you to consume. So just want to give you a view, like, yes, this is real, we're working on all these things, but given the fact that we are still working on these things, I'm going to spend the rest of the time showing you kind of the content we're actually working on, and walk you through in a little more detail where we can kind of pinpoint the improvements we're making here. So as that comes back, so we covered on the sign-in experience. You'll have the ability to see that, but it's very role specific and also contextual specific. So if a customer comes back in, they'll say, "Hey, continue your SAS plan." So we'll cut right to SAS plans then. So we are revising the UI all up, making it cleaner and simpler to get things done. So that was one thing. Hey, we had feedback about, hey, this is a little cumbersome. I know what we're doing here, but can you help me make it easier, less clicks to get things done? So you can see here, just from plan creation, it is not resetting your level of knowledge, but ultimately just making it easier to get done. So you can come in. I'm still going to begin by naming and describing that plan. Still going to do similar things of giving that general time frame and picking the workloads. And again, that workload selection, super important, because it actually drives kind of all the following activities that the plan will actually prescribe to you and your customer. So it scopes out the right things, builds out the right tasks. You can always come back and edit these settings. So if later on they decide they wanted to do include exchange, and they initially had excluded it, you can come back and edit those plans. And the other common question is, yes, if you're doing two totally different groups or two different technologies, certainly you can build those out as separate plans themselves. But if it makes sense logically, you can actually group them. So it gives you that flexibility. So right away, we're taking away a couple steps in the current plan creation. If you looked at our guidance, we kind of said, hey, just get back to the screens. So we kind of streamline this. You're going to be able to quickly get to the point of you're done and continue on. So it gives you kind of tips to go forward. If you can skip past that, this is the time we want to really explain. As you create new plans, you will see plans all represented in 4 basic segments now. That is the business case, think of building out what the customer intention is. Section 2 is service readiness. Is the customer really ready to move to the cloud? And so we're asking, we're helping plan out those questions of, have we done the network assessments? Are they organizationally aligned? Do they have experience working with cloud products and knowing what that will look like? And then section 3, the onboarding deployment activities, so specific activities and tasks they're going to carry out to be successful as they moving to Exchange or moving to OneDrive for Business. And then lastly, adoption. I want to be very clear. It doesn't mean adoptions we wait until the end, but ultimately, as a separate plan section, it is a different set of activities, a different audience. And the thing you'll see there with Katie hit on before is adoption is a piece that throughout the deployment, throughout this process, we will be landing, but a distinct kind of focus area. And what the intention of breaking these down is allowing you to pick the right kind of target audience and engagement to plan these, rather than having one kind of monolithic thing. The request was, hey, I want to be able to segment these things, and I have that business folks in the room, like, hey, how exactly what we want to accomplish, versus the IT pro in the room to actually plan out those technical details, and ultimately the change agent or change kind of shepherd in the adoption area. The other thing I'm going to highlight quickly here is one of the most requested features was, I just want a button to share and include others on my plan. So there is now a share button on your screen. So right up on the right. So every plan, once I have it created, we usually, rather than making you go through a formal structure to build out a team, simple nomenclature that follows our products, simply just click that share. You'll still go through the same process to share, but kind of a super requested feature we're happy to see lighting up. So the next view is I've created my plan, introduced the 4 sections. Now I can, at any point in time, drill into those sections. So slightly different presentation of this, but again, what you know today about creating a plan, very similar. Now, we've done things to streamline the setup of these. So you're going to see the next slide, we'll talk about the actual reduction, but the presentation of these and how we ask the questions, we went through a series, a myriad of workshops with inputs from cross products and cross different segments with representation to get to the core of what we want to accomplish. You can see here, I've drilled into the business case and section. I can build out the scoping questions, build out the timelines and the teams. And you just notice here, as you move across these tabs, you use the bottom navigation to move back and forth. There was kind of responding to, I don't want one big long list. I want to be able to kind of work in segments across this, so to help guide you to the completion of that. Quick note, probably for those of you who are interacting in the plans on a regular basis, kind of what you can expect to find in there. So generally, you can think of these sections really map some kind of existing and current content. So if you're aware of a current SAS plan, there is an overview section and current environment. So those roughly equate to business case and service readiness. And so see here, significant reduction in the actual inputs that are required. So really streamline those questions and ask them in more simplified ways. We still get to the same proposed task and activities, but in a much simpler way. So I think everybody will be happy to see that. Less work to get to same results for the customer. And then an onboarding and adoption, those are activities we're continuing to cull together with the FastTrack Center. So over the next few months, you'll see those continue to improve. And we'll, same kind of guiding principle there. We want to reduce and simplify where we can. And you'll see us continue to work at that, both doing that and then in conjunction as we add new capabilities, whether it be Power BI and others, you'll see kind of changes coming in both angles. The other important piece, usually once we start introducing these changes, everybody says, hey, what's going to happen to my existing stuff? Hey, we get it. We're not going to make you start over. We're going to allow you to be able to update these plans. And we're not going to force an update on you. You're going to get a notification. So if you have a legacy or an existing in-process plan, you'll get a notification that a new plan version is available. You'll be able to click into that, so I can see changes, or I can actually choose to update immediately. If I click see changes, you'll get a quick summary of, hey, here's the types of questions we've changed. And again, you saw we were reducing the number of kind of data inputs. That means we've made a decision to say some of these questions are no longer critical, or we've merged questions together. What we do to ensure all your, the content you captured to that point before or when you click that update button, one of the things that we'll do automatically is create a Word document snapshot of all your kind of your inputs to date. So you can always have that as a reference point. So there's no, if you fear that some of that content might be lost because we no longer ask that question, you still have it as a reference point. And ultimately, we'll continue to log like, hey, here's the person who took that action, so you can understand, who and when is taking an action. Because once I update it, you will need to go back and review the plan for, things that have changed or things we've added. But fundamentally, you're still creating the plan, you're still doing it in the same way, really just working to simplify and make that easier for you to do. A couple other things you're going to see throughout the site. We've kind of asked and take a hard look at, like, hey, where the actual usage at and things that weren't wildly being used. We've moved those off your top navigation to allow you to simplify and get to the core things. So a couple of things, just to call out here is things like team members and timelines. Hey, not often used things, so they're available under the ellipsis menu options. But you'll still have the same familiar activities you can do. I have a library. I still have ability to get that Word document output. With that, I'm going to switch gears and say the other thing you might notice there is a new tab that's called Services. So we'll talk a little bit about what offers and services are going forward. So Chris Hopkins, I'll turn it over to you to walk us through this.
All right. Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Brian. So with this update, we're making a bunch of changes across the offer and services process. Today, as you know, if you're a partner and you have customers that are eligible for our adoption offers that are managed by FastTrack, understanding eligibility is kind of an issue. You might know the purchase dates, you might know the quantities, but you don't have a verification on is your customer actually eligible based on other criteria. So we recently, this is actually in the site today, we recently added an eligibility check process that customers, partners, and their account teams can actually use to reach out to the offer team to get verification on eligibility. So this is a fantastic improvement because as a partner, when you're working with your customer in the FastTrack site, you can literally kick off the eligibility verification process, and that'll connect you to the offer team who will look up all the account information about that customer and come back to you and allow you to know if they're eligible for the offer or not. And they'll let you know what offers they're eligible across the site for. So they might not be eligible for the Office 365 adoption offer, but the customer may be eligible for the EMS or the Cloud PBX offer. So there's a few things there to make sure you understand as far as that process is concerned. As far as the breakout between the offers and the services, when we first started the site, we didn't have a lot of services that were available, and so they all kind of flowed in as offers just because of the architecture of the site. So with this new update, we're going to separate that so you can easily see the difference between what is an offer that your customer is eligible for versus something like requesting assistance from the FastTrack Center to get engaged, which is a service request versus an actual offer that you would redeem. So just a little bit of organization across there to make that view a little easier to consume. Along with eligibility, there's a process in the FastTrack site today that you have to do to redeem your offers, right? And so some of the feedback that we've received back from partners is being able to, one, understand eligibility early in the process, but two, also being able to submit for the offer the customer is eligible for early in the process. Because it takes some time to get through eligibility check, PO, you're doing your statement of work with the customer, etc. But when the customer is ready to go, you want to be ready to go, and you want to understand where you're at as far as the offer is concerned. So what we're doing with this update is we're changing the redemption form for all the adoption offers across the board that are managed in FastTrack to remove the customer-owned success plan as a requirement to submit for that offer. So what that will look like is if you understand eligibility and if you know your customer is eligible for that offer, you can quickly go into the FastTrack site, fill out and submit the offer redemption form, which will flow over to the offer management team, for verification and for processing. Now, this doesn't mean that you never need a success plan to redeem the offer, because we do require the success plan to be in place as part of the proof of execution for your offer. But we're just moving that to the end of the process because we don't want to block you from getting started on your deployment and adoption activities because you don't quite have that success plan in place. We want you to get the offer process going. We want you to go and work with the customer on deployment and adoption activities to get to redemption. And so with that, when you get to the end of the process, today we have certain metrics around for proof of execution, active seat usage on that particular tenant. So as an example, if I'm a partner and I submit for my offer and I say, hey, you know what, I'm going to drive Skype for Business, or I'm going to drive SharePoint Online, or whatever the workload is that I pick, we still base the payment of those offers on the 5% and the 15% usage for Office 365, for example. But here on this form, when you get to the end of the process and you're having the offer team check if you've reached those metrics, that's when you would provide the success plan at that point at the end of the redemption process.
Okay, thanks, Chris. So we highlighted kind of the core investments coming here in April. There's several more changes we make month over month if you're watching the newsletter, you'll see us recap those changes. So kind of you can review this. You can see several different changes we do here of like helping you make it easier to set up customers, and as I mentioned before, sharing as well. So those additional activities are also lighting up in April. So we'll hopefully continue to make those changes month over month to improve the process. The other thing we wanted to touch on, and often kind of requested or process, was, hey, I need support. We maybe reach out to Riaz or others. We want to make sure we're going in a consistent way and we're providing the best support possible. So our path, which we want you to utilize, is use the support option in the site to create and track your tickets. And we talked a little bit about that. There is a team there that responds to those. You will see an initial response within 8 business hours, and that status is then updated on the site. So the moment you create a ticket, you'll get a response saying, hey, that's what you should expect. We've also done some work just in the March timeframe with kind of more granular status, so you can understand exactly where it fits. Have we started processing it? Has it been escalated? Are we waiting for information from you? The other thing we're being more clear about, once we provide a solution to you or to your customer for any questions you might have, it'll clearly state, hey, if you take no action, or no actions required, if this answered your question, we'll go ahead and close that ticket within 7 days. If you respond within that week time frame, it'll stay open, and we'll continue to process it. Kind of where we're tracking to right now, on average, a ticket is closed in 10 hours. There's certainly tickets that run longer, and you can, if you want to escalate a ticket, just simply go back into the ticket status and escalate that up, and you'll see a different message there, and just indicate, this is higher priority, needs to be escalated. So that's how we can manage that process. But ultimately, using this as a singular process allows us to kind of visibility, ensures it doesn't get lost in someone's inbox. So the process will get you the best results, and that can include everything from is it how do I do this in the site? How do I create a SAS plan? To questions about the offer, like this is the front intake, even for all your offer questions, to be very clear. Like don't go searching for give an alias and offers, which probably has been done in the past. Use this. We reroute and manage among our kind of different queues, and are able to take care of those things. So kind of one place to go and answer all those questions. One more thing we want to recap and give an update on is localization. We'll break that down, both the site and what the FastTrack Center is providing service in. So we've actually been launched in a series of languages, the 8 languages, and that matched up with, at time of launch, the number of languages that FastTrack Center provided coverage for. In April, we'll be rolling out additional set of language to get to the coverage of 21 languages. So you'll see that lighting up, and then the selection list will be very apparent when it lands. And any further languages at this point, we're still in evaluation of evaluating this for FY17. And the other thing, kind of caveat with this, understand we are month over month changing the site, and so you will notice some deltas. The English site is the piece that we published to initially, and so you may see that site run ahead with new content. And depending on the type of content, that can range from weeks to a couple of months, depending on the complexity of the content, to get branched out to all of the languages. So just awareness on that yes, you will see distinct differences across those, but we are expanding that set. And then with this, if they go handing this off to FastTrack Center, we are just recently expanded this set from 8 to 12. The recently added languages are traditional Chinese, Thai, Vietnamese, and Korean were just added at the beginning of March as supported languages. That means you can bring your customer or you as a partner can work with the FastTrack Center in those languages. And that means, together you create a success plan in that language, work together with the FastTrack Center and deliver those resources, the workshops, that content, everything will be delivered in those languages for your customers.
We're going to close with a few reminders and a summary of what we just discussed today. So I think most of you probably already are aware of the FY16 adoption offer, but we wanted to resurface it again around eligible funds for customers 50 seats and above. So please make sure your customers are aware of this, that it is available, and please take advantage of it yourselves. From an eligibility standpoint, for partners, you must be a gold or silver cloud productivity competency partner or small and mid-sized cloud competency partner. And this offer will be available until June 30th of 2016. Again, always want to remind you that our public roadmap is available at roadmap.office.com. All of the FastTrack changes that we talk about will be posted here as well and are available for you as partners and our customers. And again, to recap, all up from a roadmap perspective, we're highlighting a few of the things that we talked about in our previous webcast for the February 1st launch announcement. I won't go through everything, but you can see some of the highlights around our offer expansion and FastTrack Center expansion to support customers 50 seats and above. We're expanding our data migration support from Google Drive and file shares. We will also be, as I discussed earlier, in the May timeframe, extending that data migration for Box to OneDrive. Again, this is for 150 seats and above. We talked about planning assistance in the FastTrack Center, and we talked about the adoption guidance that was available for our internal field and now for you as partners in the April timeframe, as well as all of the website updates that I talked about from a content perspective and that Brian walked through. So with that, we'll go ahead and close, and we'll go ahead and encourage you to do a few things. So engage with your customers and make sure that they do have a success plan in place. Utilize support from the FastTrack Center, and that's really a partnership with you where the FastTrack Center will support customers remotely, and then you doing more strategic services on site. And then, of course, as I just talked about, leverage the adoption offer to drive usage beyond Exchange. I hope this content was useful for you today. Thanks for listening, and thanks for joining us.